Gentlemen, I want you to imagine something for a moment. You're in your bedroom with the woman you love. The moment is right. Everything is perfect. But then your body doesn't respond the way it used to, the way you remember it responding 10 years ago, 20 years ago. And in that moment, you feel something darker than embarrassment. You feel like you're losing a part of yourself, like your manhood is slipping away, one failed attempt at a time. Now, I know that feeling cuts deep. I've sat across from thousands of men in my practice who've described that exact moment with tears in their eyes. Successful men, strong men, men who built businesses, raised families, fought wars. But in that bedroom, they felt powerless. And here's what most men don't realize, what nobody talks about at the barbershop or the golf course. You are not alone, and you are not broken. What you're experiencing is something that affects over 70% of men over the age of 50. But here's where it gets interesting, and I want you to lean in close for this. There's an entire industry built on men who can perform on command, sometimes for hours, under the most stressful conditions imaginable. I'm talking about adult film actors. Now, before you click away thinking this is going to be some cheap gimmick, stay with me, because what I'm about to share with you comes from actual medical research, conversations with urologists who've treated these performers, and science that works for any man, whether you're 40 or 80 years old. Have you ever wondered how these men do it? How they maintain rock-solid erections for extended periods, often with cameras, lights, and entire crews watching their every move? The answer isn't what you think. Most men assume it's all pharmaceutical, that these performers are popping little blue pills like candy. But here's the truth that the industry doesn't want you to know, and it's something that can change your life starting tonight. The real secret isn't found in a pharmacy. It's found in a combination of daily habits, specific exercises, and natural techniques that optimize your body's own ability to create and sustain erections. And before we go any further, I need to tell you something important. This is general information, not medical advice. Always consult your doctor before starting new routines, especially if you take medication or have health conditions. But what I'm about to share with you has helped countless men reclaim their confidence, their relationships, and that fire they thought was gone forever. Let me take you back to a conversation I had with a patient I'll call Robert. Robert was 62 years old. He'd been married for 35 years to his high school sweetheart. 2 years ago, he started having trouble in the bedroom. At first, it was occasional. Then it became more frequent. Then it became every time. He told me he started avoiding intimacy altogether because he couldn't bear the look of disappointment in his wife's eyes, or worse, the look of pity. He felt like he was losing his identity as a man. He'd lie awake at night wondering if this was just how the rest of his life would be. Silent, disconnected, living like roommates instead of lovers. Robert's story is the story of millions of men. But here's what changed everything for him. Wait until you hear this. When I started explaining to Robert the same techniques I'm about to share with you, the same methods that professional performers use, his eyes lit up for the first time in months. Because he realized something crucial. The problem wasn't that his body was broken. The problem was that nobody had ever taught him how his body actually works when it comes to erections. So let's talk about what's really happening inside your body when you get an erection, because understanding this is the key to fixing it. Think of your penis like a fire hose. When you want water to come out with force, you need 3 things. You need good water pressure from the source. You need the hose itself to be in good condition, not cracked or kinked. And you need the valve to open fully. Your erection works the same way. The source is your cardiovascular system, your heart pumping blood. The hose is your blood vessels, especially the tiny ones inside your penis. And the valve is controlled by chemicals in your body. Things like nitric oxide, which tells those blood vessels to relax and let blood flow in. Now, here's where most men over 40 start running into problems. Over the years, those blood vessels get narrower. It's like when pipes in an old house get clogged with mineral deposits. The technical term is endothelial dysfunction, but forget the fancy words. Just know this. Your blood vessels need to be flexible and open for blood to rush into your penis and create that firm erection. And here's the kicker that most men don't know. What you eat, how you move, how you breathe, and even how you think all directly impact those blood vessels. Every single day, you're either making them more flexible or more rigid. You're either opening the pipes or clogging them further. Now, let me tell you what professional performers know that your doctor probably never explained. They understand that maintaining an erection isn't just about the moment itself. It's about what they do 23 hours before that moment. It's about preparation. Most of these men follow something called pelvic floor training. These are the same muscles you use to stop yourself from urinating midstream. Think of them as the foundation of your erection. When these muscles are strong, they act like a clamp that traps blood inside your penis once it flows in, keeping you hard longer. When they're weak, blood leaks out too quickly, and you lose your erection. Here's how you train them, and I want you to really pay attention because this one technique alone has saved marriages. Several times throughout your day, maybe when you're sitting at a red light or watching television, contract those pelvic floor muscles. Pull them up and in, like you're trying to stop urinating. Hold that contraction for 5 seconds, then release for 5 seconds. Do this 10 times in a row. Repeat this sequence 3 times a day. That's it. Sounds simple, right? But here's what happens when you do this consistently for just 4 weeks. Those muscles become stronger and more responsive. You gain better control over your erections. You can maintain hardness longer. And here's the bonus that nobody talks about. When you orgasm, it feels significantly more intense because those muscles contract more powerfully. But wait, there's more to the story. And this is where it gets really interesting. Professional performers also focus obsessively on something called nitric oxide production. Remember, this is that chemical messenger I mentioned earlier that tells your blood vessels to relax and let blood flow into your penis. Your body produces nitric oxide naturally, but production decreases as you age. This is one of the main reasons erections become harder to achieve and maintain after 40. So, how do you boost nitric oxide? Here's the insider truth. Certain foods are absolutely loaded with compounds that your body converts into nitric oxide. Dark leafy greens like spinach and arugula, beets and beet juice, citrus fruits, pomegranates, watermelon, especially the white part near the rind, garlic, and dark chocolate. These aren't magic bullets, but when you eat them regularly, you're giving your body the raw materials it needs to produce more nitric oxide. Think of it like putting premium fuel in your car instead of regular. Your engine just runs better. Now, many performers I've spoken with through colleagues who treat them, they drink a glass of beet juice before a performance. Not because it's some instant erection potion, but because over time, the nitrates in beets convert to nitric oxide and improve overall blood flow. One man I treated started drinking 8 ounces of beet juice every morning. Within 6 weeks, he noticed a significant improvement in his morning erections. Those morning erections, by the way, are a critical sign of vascular health. If you're waking up with strong erections, your blood vessels are in good shape. Here's something else that most men don't realize, and this one might surprise you. Stress is absolutely killing your erections. I don't mean a little work stress. I mean chronic, everyday anxiety that keeps your body in fight-or-flight mode. When you're stressed, your body releases hormones like cortisol and adrenaline. These hormones constrict your blood vessels because your body thinks you're in danger. It's diverting blood to your major muscles so you can run from a tiger. But there's no tiger. There's just bills, work deadlines, family drama, and the constant noise of modern life. And while your body is in this stressed state, achieving an erection becomes nearly impossible. Professional performers have learned to manage this through breathing techniques. I know it sounds too simple to work, but listen to this. Before a scene, many actors spend 5 to 10 minutes doing deep breathing exercises. They breathe in slowly through their nose for a count of 4, hold for 4, then exhale through their mouth for a count of 6. This type of breathing activates your parasympathetic nervous system, which is the rest and digest mode. It's the opposite of fight or flight. It tells your body that you're safe, that you can relax, that blood can flow to non-essential areas like your penis. Try this tonight before bed or before intimacy. Sit quietly, close your eyes, and just breathe. 4 in, 4 hold, 6 out. Repeat for 10 cycles. You'll notice your entire body relaxes, your mind quiets, and when the moment comes, your body is primed to respond. Now let's talk about something uncomfortable but absolutely critical: your weight. I'm not going to sugarcoat this because I respect you too much. If you're carrying extra weight, especially around your belly, it's directly sabotaging your erections. Here's why. Fat cells, particularly belly fat, produce an enzyme that converts testosterone into estrogen. Yes, you read that right. Your belly fat is literally feminizing your hormones. Less testosterone means lower sex drive and weaker erections. But it gets worse. Excess weight also promotes inflammation throughout your body, and inflammation damages those blood vessels we talked about earlier. It's like throwing sand into the gears of a machine. Everything stops working smoothly. Every 10 pounds of excess weight you're carrying is making your erections weaker. But here's the good news, and I want you to really hear this. For every 10 pounds you lose, you improve blood flow, you increase testosterone, and you regain function. I've seen men in their 70s lose 30 pounds and suddenly perform like they're in their 50s again. It's not too late for you. The body has an incredible ability to heal itself when you give it the right conditions. You don't need to become a bodybuilder. You just need to move your body regularly and eat real food instead of processed garbage. Let me tell you about another patient, Michael. Michael was 57, about 40 pounds overweight, pre-diabetic, and his erections had been failing for 3 years. His wife suggested he try those pills, and they worked at first, but then they stopped working. Higher doses, same problem. He came to me, defeated, convinced he'd never have sex again. I gave him a challenge. 3 months. Walk 30 minutes every day. Cut out sugar and processed foods. Do those pelvic floor exercises. Focus on the foods that boost nitric oxide. And most importantly, talk to his wife about what he was going through instead of suffering in silence. 3 months later, Michael walked into my office with his wife. He'd lost 22 pounds. His morning erections had returned, and for the first time in years, he was having sex without pills. He told me he felt like a man again, not just because of the physical function, but because he'd taken control. He'd stopped being a victim of his body and started being the master of it. That's what I want for you, that sense of control, that feeling of reclaiming what you thought was lost forever. Here's another secret from the professional world that you need to know about: cardiovascular exercise. Not just any exercise, but the kind that gets your heart pumping and your blood flowing. Think about it logically. An erection is a vascular event. It requires healthy blood flow. If your cardiovascular system is sluggish, if your heart struggles to pump blood efficiently, if your arteries are clogged, how can you possibly expect strong, sustained erections? You can't. The performers who last the longest aren't just gym rats for aesthetics. They're training their cardiovascular systems to deliver oxygen-rich blood efficiently throughout their entire body. What does this look like practically? It means finding something, anything, that gets you moving and increases your heart rate. Walking at a brisk pace, swimming, cycling, dancing, gardening vigorously. It doesn't matter what it is, as long as you do it consistently. Aim for at least 30 minutes, 5 days a week. And here's what happens when you do. Your heart becomes stronger, your blood vessels become more flexible, your blood pressure normalizes, your body starts producing more nitric oxide naturally. All of these changes directly translate to better, harder, longer-lasting erections. One study found that men who exercised regularly were 30% less likely to experience erectile dysfunction than sedentary men. 30%. That's a massive difference for something as simple as moving your body. Now we need to talk about something that might make you uncomfortable, but it's too important to skip. Pornography. I know many men watch it, and I'm not here to judge your choices, but I need you to understand something from a medical perspective. When you watch pornography frequently, especially the intense, hyper-stimulating kind available today, you're conditioning your brain to respond to visual stimulation that's unrealistic. You're training your brain to need that level of novelty and intensity to become aroused. Then, when you're with a real partner in a real bedroom, your brain doesn't get that same dopamine hit. The result? Difficulty getting or maintaining an erection with an actual human being. This is called porn-induced erectile dysfunction, and it's becoming more common, especially in younger men. But it affects men of all ages. The solution? Give your brain a break. Some men find that taking a complete break from pornography for 60 to 90 days allows their brain to reset. Their sensitivity returns. They become aroused by normal, healthy sexual situations again. If pornography is part of your life, consider whether it might be part of your problem. This isn't about morality. It's about function. It's about getting your body to respond the way you want it to respond. Let's talk about sleep, because this is huge and almost nobody connects it to erectile function. When you sleep, particularly during deep sleep, your body produces the majority of your testosterone. Testosterone isn't just about sex drive, though that's part of it. It's also crucial for the mechanics of getting an erection. If you're only sleeping 5 or 6 hours a night, if your sleep quality is poor, if you wake up multiple times, your testosterone production plummets. Over time, chronic sleep deprivation can cut your testosterone levels in half. Think about that. Half. No wonder you're struggling. Professional performers treat sleep like it's sacred. They prioritize it. They create dark, cool sleeping environments. They avoid screens before bed. They establish routines. They understand that recovery happens during sleep, and that includes sexual recovery. Your goal should be 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep every night. And here's a tip that many men don't know. Sleeping on your back can actually improve sleep quality and reduce the chances of sleep apnea, which is another erection killer. Sleep apnea reduces oxygen levels in your blood, which damages blood vessels and reduces testosterone. If you snore loudly or wake up gasping, talk to your doctor about getting tested for sleep apnea. Treating it can literally save your sex life. Here's where we need to get real about expectations, because I don't want to set you up for disappointment. If you implement everything I've told you today, the pelvic floor exercises, the nitric oxide boosting foods, the stress management, the cardiovascular exercise, the weight loss, the better sleep, you're not going to wake up tomorrow with the erections of a 20-year-old. That's not how the body works. This is about gradual, consistent improvement. You might notice small changes in the first 2 weeks. Maybe your morning erections become slightly firmer. Maybe you feel a bit more desire. By 4 to 6 weeks, you should see more significant improvement. Better quality erections, more confidence. By 3 months, if you've been consistent, many men experience dramatic changes. But here's the truth that nobody wants to hear. This requires commitment. This requires you to show up for yourself every single day, even when you don't feel like it, even when it seems like nothing's changing, even when doubt creeps in. That's when champions are made. That's when you prove to yourself that you're not done yet, that you're not giving up on your manhood, your marriage, your vitality. Let me paint you a picture of what your life could look like 6 months from now. You wake up with a strong morning erection, something you haven't experienced consistently in years. You feel it and smile because you know your body is healing. You get out of bed with energy because you slept deeply, and your testosterone levels are climbing. You eat a breakfast rich in the nutrients your body needs. You move your body, maybe a morning walk, maybe some stretching, feeling your strength returning bit by bit. Throughout the day, you feel more confident. You make eye contact differently. You carry yourself differently. Because deep down, you know that one of the most fundamental aspects of your masculinity is coming back online. That evening, when you're with your partner, there's no anxiety, no fear, no wondering if your body will betray you. You're present, you're confident, and when the moment arrives, your body responds the way it should, the way it's supposed to, the way you remember. And afterward, lying there together, you realize something profound. You didn't just reclaim your ability to have an erection, you reclaimed your identity as a man. You reclaimed your relationship. You reclaimed your future. That's not fantasy. That's the reality for thousands of men who've implemented these exact strategies. Gentlemen, I want to leave you with something important. You are not too old to feel young again. You are not too far gone to turn this around. Your body wants to heal. Your body wants to function. It's just been waiting for you to give it the right tools, the right information, the right environment. Everything I've shared with you today, from the pelvic floor exercises to the dietary changes to the lifestyle modifications, these aren't secrets reserved for professional performers or wealthy men with access to expensive treatments. These are fundamental principles of male health that work for any man willing to apply them. The question is, are you willing? Are you willing to invest 30 minutes a day in your sexual health? Are you willing to make different choices at the dinner table? Are you willing to prioritize your sleep, manage your stress, and move your body? Because if you're truly ready to take control of this area of your life, then 6 months from now, you'll look back at today as the turning point. The day you decided that your story wasn't over. The day you decided to fight for your manhood, your confidence, your relationship. Now, I want you to take action right now. Don't wait until tomorrow. Don't wait until you feel motivated. Start today with one thing. Just one. Do a set of those pelvic floor exercises right now. Or commit to eating one nitric oxide boosting food tomorrow. Or schedule that walk for later today. One action. That's all it takes to start the momentum. And if you want more detailed information, more guidance, more support on this journey, subscribe to this channel because I'm dedicated to helping men like you reclaim their vitality at any age. Hit that like button if this video gave you hope, because that tells me to keep creating this content. And most importantly, take care of yourself, gentlemen. Your body is capable of more than you think. Your best years aren't behind you. They're ahead of you, waiting for you to step into them. Now go. Start today. Reclaim what's yours.